Bonjour, bonjour. It's February the 8th, 2021. It's Monday afternoon, noon hour. Welcome to MTN Live Circle Talks. Joining us this afternoon is Bo Kubrakovich, lead keeper. Welcome to the program, Bo.
Tanse, Anine, how are you doing there, Corey?
Bonjour, Nijagan. I'm doing pretty good, staying warm and keeping safe. How about you?
Excellent, especially with this winter weather, eh? This is exciting times. It's finally winter.
Yeah, it finally is winter. Bo, wanna ask for an update this afternoon, and I want to start by asking you from last week. How are you coping with technology through this COVID-19 pandemic?
Well, Corey, we were virtual right from day one. I remember my days back in my OCN, the PA days, where I was always teaching virtual technology back then. And wherever I went in the last 30 years has been a virtual process. So I've operated businesses and been in that area for many years in virtual technology. So we've always had the ability to do that. And now with FNT2T, our keepers and helpers are spread out throughout our territory. We even have some keepers and helpers in Winnipeg in the Treaty One territory that work for us. So we have a lot of connection to the technology and making sure that we can connect. Teams M365, as we call it, has been very good to us. We have the back end, the SharePoint, and we have even further technology where a lot of our websites have the back ends for all our councils. So our councils and our circles have that ability to tap into anything we're doing at all times. So technology world is advancing every day. There's a new announcement on something, Corey. So we try to be ahead of the game. We do our send outs sometimes every Sunday, but majority of the time once a month. And we send out in our email feeds as well as our online feed. So to us, technology is key, and for us to advance as the government of First Nations and Treaty 2 territory, as well as the nation and the territory, we must connect that. So we also have a business data center concept that has been laid out, and that's going to be announced shortly through our trust and corporations keeper, Ryan Sutherland. He's been working hard on that, and our technical team has been working on that, is trying to connect our nations and making sure high speed is in all our nations, and the data is going to work for all 7 circles and all 7 councils, Corey.
Great, great. Nice to hear. What's happening with your relations with FNT2T and Canada?
Well, I'm glad that you asked me that because it's interesting. We started off as the RSD process 3.5 years ago, where at that time individual by the name of Joe Wild met with some of our leaders, and there was a platform laid out. This is what Canada is doing, and this is what we'd like to do to get back to treaty implementation and also the unfinished treaty business. And it's all about unfinished treaty business. You know, we've talked about the situation in the 16 areas and matters that we have as a nation and a territory. And the government of First Nations and Treaty 2 territory is working hard to make sure that we expand the RSD process. And the RSD process is basically there to open the doors for us, and it has. You know, we're in the process of an acknowledgement and recognition agreement right now. Canada has been presented from our end something that they're not used to, because we're absolutely not going to a municipal government, and we're not going to support them to weed out the grant applications and the grant processing with a 10-year grant access process. So we're not buying into Canada, is what they're saying as reconciliation in our term is basically, hey, implement the treaty, return to land, pay for compensation for the land taken up to this time, and then the 16 other claims, such as fertile soil and the Dauphin Lake illegal surrender and so forth. So we're into the implementation of the treaty right now, and the unfinished treaty business is working on an agreement with Canada to say we want to enter into um, uh, this instead of litigation, and we'd like to have a tribunal in place. We'd like to stay away from the courts if possible, because you know what happened. Typical case with the Mosquito First Nation, they won their case after 100 years. You'll see the fertile soil case and claim that's moving forward right now with Canada. You'll see all the nations in the territory access that. But we have a lot of work ahead of us with the nation and economic development. We're working on a physical agreement right now, and that's basically with ISK. We're trying to get rid of ISK regional and go directly to our treasury. So to Canada's treasury and our treasury. So we have a treasury and trust that was set up and created. And we also now have a treasury law that's being drafted. We were asked by the governing council and the Grand Council back in August 2019 was to advance in a lot of the lawmaking. So how we do that is, Corey, we just do recommendation documents and we present them to the councils, and then the councils will sponsor a law and they'll work on the law, and then they will proceed with the governing council and then the grand council. So we have a lot of work on that. The child, family, and nation, of course, that's a separate process than the RSD. Since the RSD started 3.5 years ago, Corey, we've actually advanced into about 7 sub-circles and tables, as we would call them circles. So with C92, of course, that gave us the ability to work things out with Canada to advance on the lawmaking when it comes to our child, family, and nation. And of course, our lifelong learning, we're working on the implementation of an agreement with the RSD process, but we're also trying to get the education folks involved with us. Care and protection of natural world, we're actually meeting, the governing council is meeting tomorrow with the Ministry of Natural Resources. So we're going right to the source that destructed the process in our territory, such as the 1930 Natural Resource Act that wasn't consulted. There was no prior consent given, and there's absolutely no accommodation since it's been in place a number of years ago. So we got 90 years of destruction in our territory, and Manitoba and Saskatchewan continue to take all the resources out of our territory without any kind of compensation. The health and well-being, of course, is a lot of work being put through there. So the implementation agreement is hopefully starting soon. We have the health ministry that we've touched base with, and we're hoping to expand with that. And then internal, external, as you know, Philip Paul Martin has just been back on board with us over a week now, and it's a great addition to have him involved with the internal external, so we can be dealing with the RMs in the towns and putting up flags and maps throughout. So Corey, it's been a lot of work. So the peacemaking right now that we have in place, the peacemaking process, we have a table that was created, sub-circle created for the peacemaking, and we hope to be able to push hard with that. And of course, peacemaking is in all 7 of our circles right now, Corey. So that's exciting times. I'd like to talk a bit about the political tables that we've set up with Canada, and that's with the governing council now. So the governing council, who has given us a mandate to continue with the RSD process and all the other sub-tables that we're working on, now have a place to meet the ministers, to meet the ministries on all the areas. So of course, economic development and child and family and lifelong learning and care and protection, natural world and health and internal, external, as well as peacemaking, all have ministers that we've been connecting their offices with our governing council office, and we're hoping that that continues. We've let Canada know that it'd be wise that they create an internal committee with themselves, circles as we call it. They call them committees, and they call them secretariats. We call them circles, and they are starting to latch on to that concept and idea, and it's making a lot easier for them for communication wise. So instead of just going, like, you think of the Minister of ISC, which is Indigenous Service Canada, and CERNAC, which is Minister Carolyn Bennett, you think that those are the only two ministries in Canada that deal with our Anishinaabe matters at hand, or Indigenous matters, but they're not. There's actually 9 ministries that we've been connecting with and working hard to do the work. So our policy team has done a wonderful job. Karen Kujik is doing a great job in connecting that, as well as we have Roy Dawson and Philip Paul Martin on. So we have a good team that's facilitating this process, Corey.
Oh, thank you, thank you. That's a great update. I wanted to ask you one final question, Bo. What's new on what's new on engaging our local nations with reporting?
Oh, wow, that's an excellent question as well, Corey. As you saw last night, a report went out to pretty well 1,500 emails and contacts throughout the territory and Turtle Island that we're moving forward together with our United Nations and government and territory. And there's exciting news happening right now. MTN Live, Moccasin Trail News, FNT2T.com, the Lodge at FNT2T.com, the lifelonglearning.fnt2t.com, as well as the naturalworld.fnt2t.com. So there's wonderful websites, and all our keepers are really participating and putting up the stories and the news and the teachings, right? And really participating well together. And now we've advanced the writing to video, as you see today. I'm on the video, just not some of the blogs and some of the stories and teachings. So this is a great opportunity for individuals out there to see what we're up to, and the membership, right? So we're engaging the membership. We have our engagement sessions. We also hope to be running every Wednesday at 6 p.m. on engagement. So we're going to open up the floor on talking about constructive criticism, or any type of recommendations, or anything to help us get better, as well as come with solution based, right? So we don't only want to hear the rants on matters and issues. We want to make sure that there's some solution, and our Anishinaabe people in our territory are great for coming up with solutions. We have the nations that we've engaged through our local nation helpers and our regional offices. Corey, our regional offices have done a great job on connecting with our local nations. The local nation helpers right now are working on their first laws, their constitutions, and their timelines. And also they're helping with the CFN and natural world and lifelong learning work that's being done through our circles. So there's a lot of work done, Corey. And when we sent out the report late last night, early this morning, in regards to what is happening in our territory, and this newscast is great because there was many stories there, and it took some time because there is so many stories. We almost need to get out every week with an email on this, but we feel that one of the greatest complaints of my work has been Bo sends out way too many emails. I'll continue to do that, Corey, and I'll continue to kind of take that as a positive, because when somebody is saying that, then obviously we're doing our work, and we're doing our work greatly in the territory, Corey, and I really appreciate the work that you've done, and of course we have a really good communication person, Marlene Davis, that ran into an accident, of course, before Christmas. So we wish her and her family well during this healing time, and and everyone else in the territory that is struggling through COVID-19, and it's tough, right? So we have to be mindful. Take a few minutes out and breathe before you send an email or a text or a message, and be mindful to the other person that you may be sending that message to. And people really respect that, right? So
Hmm.
look at our relationship, right? We have a
Yeah.
good pro relationship. I have any matters that I have to bring up with you, I'll message you right away. And we also have team chats, and team chats do really well for us, Corey. So with that, Miigwech, for your time, and thank you for the show today.
Miigwech, happy to get you, Miigwech, Bo. Thank you for putting in the time today and connecting with all of us and our audience too. Miigwech ni chawin. Minoy wab mi go.
All righty, Miigwech, Ekose. Oh.